Dear parents, currently we are entering lockdown phase 5. Shops, offices are slowly opening, but people are going back to their work with the high standards of hygiene and cleanliness. However, the students will still have to stay off campus for some more time. We're not sure how long this time period will be, but we understand that times like these demand that we realign our pedagogies, learning outcomes, expectations to suit this new phase of education 5.0, that not just aims at preparing the students for lifelong learning, but developing in them physical and emotional agility, so that they thrive in a world where machines and humans align, and they explore new possibilities together. As a school, we have moved our teachers and students online. Our team of teachers have worked tirelessly the last 2 months to equip themselves so that we are not only able to support the students in the learning process, but also ensure their emotional well being. Education has moved today from a brick and mortar to cloud. We will be using Google Apps for education for all our interactions. Google Classrooms will be used. This is how the Google Classroom appears. And if you click on the classwork, you will see the subjects on the left hand side of the screen. When you click on a particular subject or you scroll down, you will find all the material, lectures, worksheets, home assignments, presentations uploaded there. These will be accessible to the child through the term. The Google Meet or virtual class link will also be posted here. The child can either click on the link and immediately get into the class. The link will also be emailed on the official email ID. Once the child joins the class, the child is expected to keep the microphone in mute unless the child has to respond or participate in the discussion. There are certain ground rules which are to be followed, and these have been shared with you through a circular. Camera should be kept on. Dress code is a school PT t-shirt with comfortable track pants. There should be no distraction, television or any other gadgets in the room. Stationery required for the class should be ready with the child. A bottle of water, light dry snack will ensure that your child is comfortable during the class. This is how the learning schedule for your child will look like. About an hour of online class for senior KG to grade 2, and gradually increases to 2 hours for 3 to 5, 3 hours for 6 to 10, and 3, and in some few cases, maybe 4 hours for grade 11 and 12. Apart from the online classes, the child is required to put in certain amount of work during the day. We ensure that this work is limited to 45 minutes for senior KG and gradually increases 2 to 3 hours for grade 6 to 10 and 4 to 5 hours for grade 11 and 12. The maximum screen time, including the online classes and assignments that we expect your child to have, is not more than 1.5 hour for younger kids, and it gradually increases to 3.5 hours for grade 6 to 10 and about 5 hours for grade 11 to 12. But this includes the online class timing. Senior KG to grade 5, the focus is more on communication, comprehension, and computation. These children are divided into two slots to ensure that the teacher is not interacting with more than 21 students in the virtual class. This will facilitate personalized learning and provide more interaction time with teachers. It will also help you to allow your children or siblings at home to share the device. Home assignments will be a blend of digital and pen paper assignments. They will be uploaded every Friday. Submission will be on Thursday of the following week. Sufficient time will be allotted for completing this work. The presentations, recorded lessons, classwork, home assignment, guidelines will be posted in the Google Classroom. So, if I have to take you through the process of learning, it's a four-step process. The first step is where the content is shared with the child. The child navigates through the content and answers a quiz or completes a concept map provided to the child. Post which, based on the interaction of the child with the content, the teacher designs her classroom sessions. The focus here is more on discussing higher order questions, clarifying misconceptions. The assignments given after that are more in the form of collaborative projects, worksheets, Google Forms. They are submitted either by clicking pictures of the document and uploading it on the Google Form, or various online Google tools will be used for submission of assignments. The assessments are of shorter duration and they will be done after every concept or every topic is over. They'll be more regular. These will be formative assessments, and the focus will be on facilitating learning rather than evaluating the student performance. The way we think about learning and success in examination needs to be redefined. So, if you look at it, to summarize, what a teacher does at home is she creates and curates video lectures. She designs worksheets, shares it with students, whereas a student watches these lectures, prepares questions for the teachers, and gets them clarified during the online sessions. During the online sessions, teacher facilitates discussions, conducts or organizes virtual interaction platforms for the child. Uh, and the child participates in the learning activities. This is what a home assignment for a grade or primary school on digestive system would look like. So if you look at this, there is a worksheet on digestive system, and a video is shared. The worksheet has very simple questions which are directly based on the video. These are recall questions, and very easy for the child. The child can do it independently. These will help the teacher to ensure that the child has gone through the material, and also to gauge the level of learning of her class, and she can design her classroom interaction based on these misconceptions or learning gaps. During the online session, the teacher will not only fill these learning gaps but will also promote critical thinking questions, will help the child in completing worksheets which are or questions from the worksheets which are slightly difficult for the child to do it independently, thus handholding the child in the learning process. So if you look at this model, it's an adaptation of enriched virtual model of blended learning, where learning is made of two components, the monologues and dialogues. E-learning happens, and that's monologues. And the time in the class is generally spent in dialogues, activities, misconceptions, making learning more personalized. In our situation, we are not able to do this offline. We're not able to do face-to-face interaction. So the dialogues and activities will be conducted virtually. But once the students are on campus, these activities will be conducted in the class. Now, this is an entirely new learning model, and we understand that there must be a lot of anxiety. How will my child manage? Will it be effective? How will it be overwhelming for my child? Let us understand, how students learn. Students learn through three ways. They either learn by navigating through content, by through their interaction with instructor or teacher, and from each other. This continues to be the case even in this learning model. The student engagement and learning has, three aspects. The student teacher interaction here is more through online classes, recorded lessons, and personalized feedback. Students are navigate through the content at their own pace, and it's not just in the form of print but also in the form of videos and presentations. The content is provided to the child online as well as offline. Student to student interaction increases here because there are more opportunities for virtually collaborating on projects and classroom discussions. So, what are the opportunities in this kind of a learning model? It's more of a student centered learning, because it is possible for the students to increase their input, control their own learning. They may pause, rewind lectures, they can take their time to review the content. The lessons and the content are accessible to the child 24/7 through the year. Students are able to learn at their own pace. The responsibility of learning is partially shared with the students because they are required to prepare for the class just like the teachers. This promotes, it's easier for parents to support the student learning because the material is also accessible to the parent. It promotes collaboration amongst students, amongst teachers and parents. It also prepares the child for a lifelong learning experience. What are the challenges? The first challenge I see is a digital divide, because it expects the students to have a device, it expects the students to have a certain amount of internet connectivity. To help you with that, we've ensured that two different slots for siblings so that you're able to manage with the same device. Also, this model expects child to be self-motivated, have higher discipline expectations from students. While this is a challenge, this is also a plus because the child ultimately develops the ability to learn on their own. There's also significant preparation required by teachers and students. Not all learning activities can be performed online. The experience of conducting an experiment, lab activity, touch, feel, that opportunity is not there in this kind of a learning mode. Uh, Also, it does not allow the same level of engagement and emotional connect as face to face interaction or conversation would. However, to cope with that or to make up for that, we have kept room for informal interaction. We would have sessions with the counselor to ensure that the child is connected to the school, connected to each other, and is emotionally doing fine. The other fear that we have is increase in screen time. Screen time definitely will increase for the academic work, but we've tried to give more pen and paper assignments, cut down on the screen time by keeping the screen time limited to 1 hour for younger kids and gradually increases. So, if you look at the attention span, there's a correlation with age. While it cannot be generalized because every child is different, but from a child development standpoint, this is what the data looks like, and we have tried to keep this in mind while designing our sessions. In a KG section, for example, the academic work is about 15 to 20 minutes, which will be sandwiched between activities like music and movement, informal interactions, storytelling sessions, recap, closure activities, uh, more circle time. For grades 1 to 2, these kind of sessions, the fun sessions, the activity sessions are sandwiched between 15 to 20 minutes of academic work. This time increases to 45 minutes for grade 3 to 5. While we understand that students cannot, as young as these, cannot be engaged for 45 minutes at a stretch, so after every 20 to 25 minutes, there'll be energizers or physical activities for the child. For grade 6 to 12 or the senior children, the time duration of each lecture is about an hour, 45 minutes to 1 hour. So, how do we keep them engaged? By making learning more high touch, which is by providing them collaborative activities, by personalizing learning, by giving them more problems which are related to real world. So, our social studies, particularly our languages, we're trying to align it more to what's happening around, and the focus is going to be more on creating rather than consuming. Periodic assessments will also help the child to participate in the learning experience. Dear parents, with the increased autonomy and self motivation required for students, parents' role is very critical. Uh, uh, we As a parent, some of the things that you can take care of is by providing a physical space intended for learning, a bench or desk, a table or a chair, a formal space of learning with minimum distractions. Offer support to the learning structure rather than being a homeschooler. While the material is accessible, do not give in to the temptation of teaching your child. Let the child learn from their teacher, let them interact with their teachers. Keep a tab on the assess assignments and ensure that the child is submitting it regularly. Create a schedule for self-paced learning. The children are at home through the day, but it is important that they have a routine. It is important they have a time specified for their home learning assignments. Encourage productive struggle. I think this is very important. Allow them to wrestle with the problems before intervening. Do not do not look for online tuitions at the first sign of struggle. Remember, eventually they need to develop the ability to learn independently, solve life problems. I see this off campus learning mode as a big game changer in the way we imagine learning, assessments, and success. Refrain from interrupting during the class or interacting with the teacher directly during the class. This will not be permitted. Keep yourself updated with all communication from the school. Apart from that, for senior KG to grade 3, you may have to provide technical assistance to the child in accessing the classroom. You may have to monitor the child's comprehension, and if there is a concern, please do reach out to the teachers. There will be parent teacher interactions which will be scheduled in the year. Assist the child in the assignments, especially senior KG and grade 1, because they may not be able to read instructions. For grade 4 to 6, train them to handle their device and log into the classroom independently, support them in their learning, in the transition to be independent learners, help the child in designing their schedules, and encourage the child to clarify their doubts with their teachers. Grade 7 to 12, these students are more independent in their learning process. However, you need to monitor what they're doing during the class, ensure that their gadgets are not, or smartphones are switched off, they're not accessing social media platforms during the online sessions. Refrain from criticizing the teachers, either in front of the students or on discussing about them on various social media platforms. Address your concerns directly with the school through email. While you all are anxious for your child's learning, but the school and teachers are equally concerned. Teachers will not be very comfortable and the classes will not be effective if they're constantly working under a fear of being judged. There may be technical glitches. Sometimes things may not go as planned uh, due to certain situations which are out of anyone's control. But be patient and support them, cooperate with them. Dear parents, as we reimagine and redesign our expectations from the children, you too need to realign your expectations with the big picture. What we did offline, we should not be doing online. It will be like driving a plane on the road when it can be used for flying. Whether it is a classroom or workplace, online or offline, structured or unstructured, taught or learned, standardized or not, certificated or not, learning is likely to break free from old mindsets in the coming years. Thank you, dear parents. You can reach out to us through our school ID Mahim at Bombay Scottish